Alright y'all, I am back today with the Get Ready With Me, and I'm just compelled to talk about this today. Well, I've had a couple of subscribers ask me to do a video based on how to deal with deployments. I'm just going to share my experiences as a military wife going through a deployment. My husband was deployed back in 2003, and when he got deployed, my children were the ages 2 and 9. And I'm gonna tell y'all, it was one of the hardest things that we have had to deal with as a military family. Deployments it's nothing nice, and I'm gonna just say that when you marry a soldier, you have to know what comes with that territory. And I'm gonna say this, the first time me and James, when we got married, and that was back in 1994,
I had just moved to Hawaii. Like, when I say from Florida to Hawaii, clear across the country, do you hear me? To somewhere foreign that, you know, we didn't know. We knew a soul, but we didn't know a soul. You get me?
So it's like you get over there, and then it's like you don't know anybody, you don't have any friends, you know, it's all brand new. And when I say brand new, I mean I'm brand new baby, wife, you know, now brand new territory, brand new places where we're living at and stuff now. And it can be hard on a military spouse if this is something that you're not used to. And I'm gonna put it out there, I wasn't used to it, and I was homesick like a mug like the first 6 months. However, I'm in this for the long haul, and through sickness and health, through better or for worse, you got to be able to get your bearings, and you got to be able to get with the program rather quick. Well, I'm going to tell y'all this. I got to Hawaii on December 1st of 1994, and on January 3rd, 1995, James was getting sent to Japan for a training session for 30 days. He was leaving me with brand new surroundings, brand new apartment. We hadn't even got our household goods yet. We hadn't even got our car yet. However, it was out of his control.
Child, they'll be trying to hear about, oh, your wife just got here. Well, your wife better get acclimated really damn quick, okay?
And that's just how the military sees things. You know, it's like the soldier, they always making jokes about this. If the military wanted you to have a spouse, they would have issued you one.
Really? That ain't cool.
However, I ain't gonna lie, I had to grow up really quick in this process just due to the fact that my husband was dependent on me to get it together. And I'm not gonna say he was like hoping that I was gonna be a crybaby or anything like that, because I don't think that that's the case. I think more of, you know, he was looking for me to be the strong woman that he knew I could stand up and be and take control. And y'all, that's exactly what I did. In the beginning, you know, I had to be the one to accept the household goods, first time ever doing this, be the one to go pick up my vehicle, get it registered, you know, get everything changed over to Hawaii standards. And I acclimated well. What I didn't acclimate well to was the part about being away from my family. This is the first time this ever happened, and I wasn't adjusting well, and I can admit that.
It's either James or the family. So y'all already know, it's clear what I chose, right? I chose Mr. Long.
And fast forward, y'all, we moved to North Carolina. We were there for like maybe 3 or 4 years, and then my husband came on assignment to be an Army recruiter. And he did very well at this. Like, he excelled in this. Honestly, this was the first time when my husband was a recruiter that he did not have control of his career. And it was just due to him lollygagging about converting to be a 79 Romeo. What he didn't have control over was he came down on levy. And for those of you who don't understand what coming down on levy is, that just basically means that he got orders to go to somewhere or go do something that now he don't want to do. He has no control of his career path now. And my husband, I'm going to tell y'all something about him. When he's told me not to worry about things, he got this. he has instilled so much trust, and I have faith in him that when he tells me it's gonna be all right and he got it, okay? James is not going to let anything like get out of whack or go, get out of control. It's not in his nature. However,
I know that a lot of women aren't fortunate to have husbands or spouses like that, when they tell you they got it, you can literally like take this off your worrying eye and, you can just, keep on moving.
This happened, y'all, and it was unexpectedly, and I'm just going to say this. I remember the night he called me. I happened to be at work when I was working at Charlotte Russe, and he called me with this news, and I'm not going to lie, I was like mortified. Because first of all, I'm thinking about our kids. I'm thinking about, we have a house. We done purchased a house here in North Carolina, and this was somewhere that we had planned on being, not forever, but for the duration. So it's like he's telling me this, but then he hit me with this. He was like, well, Steph, I'm going to Fort Drum, however I'm not taking y'all with me.
Excuse me? Like, what do you mean we not going?
And he had a valid point. He said, we're already 13 hours away from our family in Florida, and therefore I'm not gonna pack you up with the girls and move y'all to Fort Drum, New York.
Y'all, just because I said New York, I ain't talking about New York, New York. We talking about country, the wildebeest. That's what we talking about, that part of New York, okay? Ain't shit there but Walmart. That's that part of New York, okay?
They get snow a lot. And he said he is concerned about when he finishes this assignment, he wants to come home to his wife.
And I had to go, time out. What do you mean when you finish this assignment?
My husband knew that once he went to Fort Drum, he knew automatically that he was going to deploy. And he nailed it. Like, he wasn't even there 2 weeks, y'all, and he got deployed to Afghanistan. They told him, don't get comfortable, don't even fully unpack, because you are going to where your unit is. Devastating to the both of us. And I'm gonna tell y'all, we found out probably like in March of 2003 that he was gonna be getting orders to move to New York. Y'all, the end of August came around real fast. And I remember the day that he left, and y'all, nothing can prepare you for being separated from your spouse for an unexpectedly time. Like, nothing can prepare you for that. And I remember that morning he took the girls to school. He dropped Jasmine off to elementary school. He dropped Jada off to daycare, and I didn't go with him. This was his father-daughter time to be with his girls and say goodbye. And I know he told me it was like one of the hardest things for him to do, because in their face he had to be, I'm daddy, and I'm strong, and I got this, and I'll always be here to protect you no matter what. However, he said when he walked away, he gonna kill me for telling y'all this, that he lost it when he got in the car, and it tore him up, because he's leaving his daughters. He comes home, we done packed the car up together and stuff, and I'm gonna tell y'all, it took us 45 minutes, like, to depart, like, for real. We sat down together, we got on our knees together, we prayed, we asked God to protect him, to cover him, and also to protect and cover us, and to keep us whole. Because this is the thing, a lot of times soldiers leave and they go on these deployments, and when they come home, the family is never the same, and it's never the same for different reasons. It could be infidelity, it could be adultery, it could be, the soldier comes back wounded, the soldier don't come back. It can be all of these things, and I would be sitting here lying to y'all if I'm telling y'all that like all those thoughts did not go through my head, because they did. That day, I'm so reminded of it right now, because it was an emotional day, and here it is, like, my best friend, my hubby, my ride or die, my dude, he's leaving, and what if he don't come back? What would Stephanie be? how would I go on? I mean, I know he wants me to go on. However, how can I? Like, this man is like everything to me, and he still is everything to me. And y'all, I'm gonna just tell you this. When we finally did depart, and I mean, like, that day we cried, and we cried until the snot came out. Do you hear me? And it got to a point, he was never gonna leave if we just kept like prolonging the process. So finally I had to tell him it's time for him to go. It's time for him to go. And you know, he got in the car, and we said we was gonna give each other 30 minutes before we called each other so we can get ourselves together. But I'm gonna tell y'all, when I closed that door, because I could not watch him drive off, when I closed that door, I was emotionally fucked. I am so serious. Emotionally, because you just don't know. That's the thing, you don't know. And 30 minutes went by. He called me, you know, we talking on the phone, and you know, we trying to get through this. And I checked in with him a couple of times, you know, throughout that day, you know, because it was a 10-hour drive from where we lived. And I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Fast forward, he get there. He got orders to go to Afghanistan. He was there for 2 weeks, and he was leaving to go to Afghanistan. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, our whole entire family went through something when James got deployed. It started with me, which is the woman of the home, and it ended with him, which is the man of the home. In between, Jasmine and Jada both went through something, and like, it was just like phases of acting out when it came to the kids and stuff, because the father was not in the house, and they've grown up having a father in their presence all the time. They understood training sessions, you know, daddy will be gone for 2 weeks, maybe a month. However, now daddy's gonna be gone for 4 years. Y'all, when I tell you I did not know how to function, I really felt like my heart, a piece of me was missing. And if we're gonna be technical about it, a piece of me was missing. However, I had to keep it together, and I had to, my moments of weakness would be at night when I went to bed, and I would cry, and I would yearn for him. And you know, it's, James was on a mission to go find Bin Laden. He had told me he was going to be in the field for 2 whole weeks, and he told me that during this time there will be no contact whatsoever. And I was like, okay, got it. 2 weeks come by, don't hear from him. 3 weeks, still don't hear from him. Okay, 4 weeks go by, and I happen to be getting dressed for work this morning, and I'm watching the news.
That's something you should not do if your husband is deployed. The news will mentally fuck you. And I'm being so real. Because the news only reports the bad. And they start making your mind think otherwise.
I'm watching the news, and I hear that there's been an accident involving 10th Mountain soldiers. And, you know, they were out on a mission, and a helicopter, a Black Hawk, you know, blew up, and you know, lots of people were injured, and there was actually casualties. Now, what do y'all think going through my mind? I was on the phone with his rear detachment. I called them because I'm trying to find out like if my husband was actually involved in this, because like I said, they say soldiers are on a mission. My husband was on a mission, so I hadn't heard from him, and I'm thinking, is this why I haven't heard from him? Well, I'm calling all over. Rear detachment really can't tell you a whole lot, just due to the fact that they waiting on confirmation as well. And they told me, well, basically, if I wanted to find out anything, you know, I had to go to the newspapers, or I had to call and contact Red Cross. Well, I did. And y'all, that morning I went to work. However, once they told me that Red Cross told me that to check the newspapers, how does the newspaper get names before the Red Cross get them? Like, I didn't understand that. However, y'all, I was supposed to be opening up Charlotte Russe that morning, and it was 9:45.
Ask me, do I care? I left that store, locked that shit up, and I went to the Kroger's that was across the highway, and I bought up all the newspapers